Hi, I'm Adam Shiva, and in this video I want to talk about cyclical ketosis. And this is also called the Bulletproof Diet by Dave Asprey or the Wild Diet by Abel James. And what's at the core of this is putting your body into a fat-burning system until around dinner time or late in the afternoon, where one then can eat carbohydrates as well for energy. And how the body gets put into that fat-burning system is by keeping one's carbohydrate consumption below 5 to 10%, mattering on the person, and eating more than half of your calories from fat. And what's really helpful about this is that when the body's in this fat-burning mode, there's amazing sustained energy. Whereas to really feel like you're at your peak performance while eating carbohydrates, one really needs to snack pretty regularly to have the energy that it takes. Whereas in this fat-burning mode, it's easy to go most of the day without eating. It's really easy to do long intermittent fasts during the day, and doesn't really take much willpower to really skip lunch entirely. So it's really good for people who have a lifestyle where they want to really be able to perform at their peak with a lot of focus or with a lot of physical body energy for a big portion of the day. Also, it can be really helpful for weight loss because as the body turns to this fat-burning mode, it helps the body burn dietary fat and body fat. So the body can kind of be in a sugar-burning mode where it stores more fat, or in this fat-burning mode where it's more willing to burn body fat. So I thought that burning body fat was actually all about the calories in, calories out. There's an amazing book called Good Calories, Bad Calories, where the author lays out that actually the research for calories in, calories out is very, very low, that no one can prove this in a study, despite that lots have been done. What actually happens is that when people are given less food, they usually respond to it by moving less. And when people work out more, what's natural is to eat more in response. And so though willpower can overcome that for a short period of time, it's not an effective way to lose weight. Whereas putting the body into this fat-burning system actually really does work to lose weight. And Dave Asprey has even eaten as much as 6,000 calories a day, I believe, and proceeded to lose weight using this system. So, what does this actually involve? And how is this different than pure ketosis? So first, this is different from pure ketosis in that you don't have to just eat fat day and day and day and go through what's called a keto flu. It involves a headache, feeling kind of sickly, your breath smelling awful, all these side effects. And those side effects also will happen every time you get back on the keto wagon after falling off. And it can be really challenging to deal with that because it doesn't feel so good. For me, I've done pure ketosis like that for about 2 weeks over the last 4 years, whereas I've done cyclical ketosis for about 3.5 years over the last 4 years. And it really works for me in a way that pure ketosis doesn't. I think pure ketosis is great for recovering from diabetes and for a natural treatment to epilepsy. A lot of interesting research written about that. So, how does one stay in a state of ketosis? Well, here's a meal plan that fits how I often eat and gives you an idea of what this can look like, and you could apply this to your own experience. So, for me, breakfast will look like 3 strips of bacon, 3 eggs, and a buttered coffee. This is a technique used by Dave Asprey, where he puts butter blended into coffee with a stick blender and MCT oil. And these medium chain triglycerides are extracted from coconut, and they make the body turn into that ketosis state with a little more ease. And so you get the results you want, even if you're not doing everything perfectly, which is a great kind of transition to get your body acclimated to burning fat more. And so that buttered coffee and this fatty breakfast with collard greens. Also for lunch, I'll eat sardines, a salad with raw greens, and lots of dressing, like a unsweetened balsamic vinaigrette with just like a lot of dressing, many tablespoons of oil, because that's your primary fuel source at that point. Also, pecans go really well with this. Hard cheeses like Parmesan fit this really well, and avocados. And so those are these high-fat foods. The body will really burn them really fluidly in this process. And then for dinner, there's a huge range of flexibility. You can eat root vegetables and many of the other things that aren't usually a part of that. So the prime carbohydrate foods that don't fit that period of ketosis involve most starchy root vegetables, grains, and sweet fruits. And so all of those are carbohydrate sources and are kind of avoided. Also, beans are primarily a carbohydrate source, not a protein, despite what you might have been told. Only about 18% protein. So then those things all are totally welcome to eat with dinner. Also, another thing that can be tricky about ketosis, particularly as a beginner, is eating a large amount of lean meat or other protein source like that can make ketosis much more hard, because you need to be eating mostly fat. Mostly protein will engage a process called glycogenesis, where the body will turn to burning the protein, and it acts a lot like carbs. So that's another thing that has kind of tripped me up in my own journey with it. It's been super helpful to me and to several friends that I've shared this with. I hope this is helpful to you. I'm so curious about what your thoughts are on this. Also about vegetarian and vegan adaptations to a similar way of eating. And thanks so much for listening to me. I'd love it if you subscribed and share this with a friend. Have a great day.